Welcome to the deep dive. You've brought us a really interesting set of materials this time, all focused on flat feet.
Yeah, that's right.
For anyone who's not familiar, that's when the arch of your foot collapses and your entire sole touches the ground when you stand. It's surprisingly common, affecting somewhere between 20 and 30% of people.
Exactly. And our goal with this deep dive is to really kind of pull out the most valuable info from everything you've shared. We're looking at, well, everything from practical advice on choosing shoes to um, more in-depth research findings.
Right. On like how common it is, how it's detected.
hmm
So you might be listening because you've been dealing with foot pain yourself. Maybe you're curious about your kid's walking gait, or perhaps you just want to understand this, calming condition a little better.
Yeah, whatever the reason.
We're aiming to bring some real clarity. So let's jump right into something super practical.
hmm
Why shoes are so important if you have flat feet.
Oh, it's absolutely foundational. For people with flat feet, the right shoes aren't just about comfort, though that's part of it. It's really crucial for preventing a whole range of potential issues.
Issues that can, like, travel up the leg.
Exactly,
Yeah.
affecting the ankles, knees, even hips. It's all connected, that kinetic chain,
Yeah.
without proper support at the base.
The rest feels the strain. Makes sense. Okay, so let's unpack the what kind of issues part. Our first source really hammers this home. What are some specific problems?
Well, the source highlights several common ones. Plantar fasciitis, that really sharp heel pain, that's a big one.
Yeah. Heard of that?
Then there are shin splints, that like nagging ache along the front of your lower leg. And maybe surprisingly, even knee pain can be linked back to not having enough foot support if you've got flat feet.
All because of alignment issues starting from the foot.
Pretty much. How your foot moves affects everything above it.
Okay, like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
So if supportive shoes are this crucial, what are the absolute must-have features someone with flat feet should look for? The first source had a great breakdown, those key takeaways.
It did, yeah. And these are really the things to focus on. First and foremost is enhanced arch support.
Okay.
This helps lift and stabilize the arch, which, improves the overall alignment and distributes pressure more evenly. Not all in one spot.
Right. Trying to give that support the natural arch might be lacking. What's next?
Shock absorption. Super important. Every step you take, there's impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good shock absorption cushions this, reduces stress on your joints, and minimizes that tired feeling, especially if you're on your feet a lot. So it's not just softness, it's reducing those impact forces. Key difference.
Absolutely. Like a built-in suspension system.
Yeah.
In your shoes.
Precisely. Motion control is also really important.
Okay.
For people with flat feet, there's often this tendency for the foot to over-pronate, roll inward too much. Motion control features help limit that, promoting a more stable, proper gait.
So it's gently guiding the foot, keeping it more aligned as you walk.
Exactly right. Then there's a deep heel cup.
Deep heel cup.
Yeah. It helps cradle your heel, giving extra support and stability to the back of the foot. Think of it like keeping your heel securely positioned.
Okay. Yeah, I can picture how that would add stability.
Yeah.
What about the front of the shoe?
A wide toe box is highly recommended. This lets your toes spread out naturally when you walk, stops them being squeezed together.
Preventing discomfort.
Exactly. The source specifically mentions that. My toes always feel cramped. Sometimes sounds like a real game changer for comfort.
Definitely sounds like a relief. Anything else about the shoe itself?
Durability of the materials makes sense, right? You want them to last and keep providing that support. A flimsy shoe just won't cut it for long.
True.
And finally, an orthotic-friendly design is a plus, especially if you use or might use custom inserts. Need to make sure they fit properly in the shoe.
Right, so they don't make the shoe too tight or anything. Okay, so those are the key features. Now, our source actually recommends some specific shoes. Let's dig into those, starting with the men's Skability Walker shoe.
Right. This one's highlighted for great support, specifically for flat feet, designed by doctors, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
Some benefits mentioned. Wide front and back for better balance, crucial, and that roomy toe box we talked about. Also has extra soft gel insoles, works well with orthotics, breathable upper for comfort, and good grip so you don't slip.
Sounds really comprehensive.
Yeah.
Recommended for long walks, standing, even light jogging. Pretty versatile. And the reported benefits. Less tired feet, more comfort. Exactly what people are looking for, I bet. Price is around $105 too.
Yeah, considering the features and the doctor design, seems reasonable for a daily supportive shoe.
Next up, the men's lightweight stretch walking shoe. This one seems to emphasize ease of wear and support.
Yes, also developed with bone and foot doctors, so still that focus on, biomechanics. A key thing here is how easy they are to put on adjustable straps. Helpful if mobility is tricky.
Good point.
Light outsole helps reduce fatigue. It's got arch-supporting insoles and a stretchable, seamless upper. Great for comfort, prevents blisters, and importantly, it's noted as suitable for people with diabetes, too.
That seamless interior sounds like a really thoughtful detail. Prevents irritation. Recommended for walks, errands, light exercise, standing at work. Another versatile one. Reported benefits. Much better feeling feet, less fatigue. Similar to the last one. This one's a bit more, around $131.
Yeah, those extra features like the stretch upper and being suitable for diabetic feet probably add to that cost a bit.
Okay, moving to something more specialized. The men's Connolly strap. Extra volume hiking shoe. Designed specifically for hiking with flat feet.
Exactly. Hiking puts a lot of stress on feet, especially without good arch support. This shoe tackles that with things like extra interior space, good for thicker socks or orthotics.
Right.
Soft ankle padding to prevent rubbing. High grip outsole is essential for trails, obviously. Breathable, water-resistant materials, crucial for outdoors.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus strong toe protection, a fatigue-reducing midsole, and still good arch support.
Sounds like it's really built for the outdoors. Recommended for gentle walks up to tougher hikes. Suggests it's durable. Reported benefits. More stable feet on uneven ground. Less fatigue after long walks. Exactly what you want in a hiker. Priced around $140.
For a specialized hiking shoe with all that, especially extra volume and water resistance, seems pretty competitive price-wise.
Now, for some women's options. First, the women's hands-free slip-on shoe, the Orthofeet Nera. That hands-free design sounds convenient.
It does, yeah. Really highlights making things easier, more accessible. Specifically for women with flat feet, special cushioning and support built in.
Okay.
Light outsole with air pockets adds comfort. Stretchable upper, removable insoles give flexibility. Roomy toe box again, and it's designed to promote a healthy walking pattern. Also noted as good for diabetes or arthritis, emphasizing comfort and ease.
That hands-free part could really be a game changer for some. Good for everyday, light exercise, reported benefits, much better feeling feet, and yeah, easy to slip on. Priced around $100, comes in different widths. That's important.
Oh, offering different widths is so crucial. Foot shapes vary so much, especially with foot conditions.
Totally. Finally, we have the women's suede clog, the Orthofeet Casey. Seems like a good, casual, everyday option that still gives support.
Yeah, support in a more relaxed style, soft suede upper, arch-supporting insoles, extra soft cushioning in the heel and forefoot.
Comfy?
Designed for natural walking motion, fatigue-reducing midsole, roomy toe box again. Plus, an adjustable strap to customize the fit. Importantly, it's mentioned as helpful for plantar fasciitis and heel pain, common issues with flat feet.
So not just for flat feet, but helps with related discomfort too. Ideal for home, work, especially if you stand a lot. Reported benefits. Much better feeling feet. Stylish design. Tries to combine function and looks. Price around $110. Comes in brown and other sizes.
The fact it can help with plantar fasciitis and heel pain makes it a really valuable option for many people.
Okay, so that's a really thorough look at specific shoe recommendations and those key features. Now, let's shift gears a bit, dig into the research findings you shared. This should give us a broader, more scientific picture.
Absolutely. The research gives some really interesting insights into how common flat feet are and some factors associated with them. One study was a systematic review and meta-analysis.
Oh, okay, pulling together lots of studies.
Exactly. Analyzing data from many previous studies in this case, looking at risk factors for flat feet in children.
Yeah.
They looked at 20 different studies over 2 decades.
Wow. And what were the key things that stood out?
The meta-analysis found the overall detection rate in kids was around 25%, a quarter.
Huh.
Interestingly, boys were more likely to have flat feet than girls. They also identified several risk factors. Being younger than 9, having generally loose or hypermobile joints,
Okay.
frequently wearing sport shoes, living in an urban environment, and having lower physical activity levels.
Wait, wearing sports shoes and living in a city. That's interesting. Why might that be?
Good question. The urban living part. Maybe less time walking barefoot on uneven natural ground. That can help develop foot strength and arches in kids. Or maybe it's linked to the types of shoes worn more often in cities. And the sports shoe link. Intriguing, right? Could certain types restrict natural foot movement, maybe hindering arch development when they're young? Lots to think about there.
Yeah, quite a list of potential factors.
Yeah.
Especially those links to footwear and activity in kids.
It really raises questions about how lifestyle and development stages impact our foot arches. Another study you shared looked at using tech machine learning to automatically detect flat feet from x-rays.
Okay, that sounds advanced. How'd that work?
This research used AI convolutional neural networks, random forest models, to analyze foot alignment in x-rays. Not just detect flat feet, but even classify the severity, mild, moderate, severe.
Based on specific angles doctors use.
Exactly. Things like the arch angle, Meary's angle, calcaneal inclination angle, standard measurements.
And did it work? Was it accurate?
The study reported really high accuracy in identifying flat feet cases. Pretty promising. The researchers even suggested these models could potentially help doctors in clinical assessments by considering all these angles together. Shows the progress in diagnostic tools.
Fascinating. Using tech for a more precise, objective understanding. Okay, and finally, there was a study on how common flat feet are in school children and a connection to weight.
Yes, this one looked at over 1,000 school children, found about 16.1% overall had flat feet. Similar to the other kids study, more common in boys than girls.
Right.
But maybe the most striking finding was the really strong link they found between obesity and flat feet.
How strong?
The rate of flat feet in kids who were obese was significantly higher, around 30.8%.
Wow, 30%. That's a huge difference compared to the overall 16%. Really highlights how interconnected overall health is.
It really does. Underscores the importance of considering overall health, maintaining a healthy weight, especially in the context of foot health, particularly when young.
So, putting it all together, the practical shoe advice and these research findings, any big picture themes that stand out?
Absolutely. The big emphasis on good support in shoes. It lines up perfectly with the research showing how external factors like footwear matter for foot development and function.
Mm-hmm.
The info on how common it is, especially in kids, and those risk factors, might make listeners think more proactively about early foot health, the environments we create for kids.
Yeah.
And that significant obesity link from the prevalence study gives another really important angle on what might contribute to flat feet and the importance of overall health.
It really ties it all together. Okay, going back to practical advice, the first source also gave tips for the listener on choosing the right shoe. What should they keep in mind?
The advice really boils down to understanding your own needs and being careful when choosing. First, think about your daily activities. How much support do you actually need?
Makes sense.
And always try shoes on before buying. Check the fit, feel for pinching or discomfort. Seems obvious, but easy to skip, especially online.
Exactly. Can't feel the support online.
Right. Also, look at the materials. Breathability affects comfort, especially for long wear. If you use orthotics, or might want to, check if there's enough room for them without making the fit too tight.
Crucial.
Making sure the shoe provides good stability, especially midfoot and heel, also really important.
And what if someone has other foot issues besides just flat feet?
Good point. The advice suggests considering any other problems, bunions, hammer toes as these can influence the best shoe choice. Durability is practical too. A sturdy shoe provides support longer.
Right.
Ultimately, the source emphasizes the best shoe for you is comfy and gives the right support for your flat feet. They also recommend checking a shoe fitting guide or even talking to a foot doctor for personalized advice. Everyone's feet are different.
That's all really helpful, actionable stuff for our listener.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on flat feet, what are the main takeaways?
Okay, key things. Supportive shoes with specific features, arch support, shock absorption, motion control. They're crucial for managing flat feet and preventing related problems.
Got it.
We've seen from the research how common flat feet are, particularly in kids, and factors like age, shoe types, and significantly body weight might play a role. And finally, we touched on the cool progress and how we can detect flat feet using technology.
And ultimately, it really does sound like finding the right shoes is kind of an investment in your overall health and just how you feel day to day.
Absolutely. Proper support makes a huge difference in comfort, reducing pain, and letting you stay active.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Thinking about that research on childhood flat feet and the lifestyle links, what small changes might you consider that could positively impact long-term foot health for yourself or maybe for the kids in your life?
Yeah, maybe paying a bit more attention to shoe choices or thinking about incorporating more varied physical activity.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.